republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Deb Hoffman. All right. We are going to start at 6:30. All right. First of all, I get a roll call, Miss Brenda.
Okay, Bonnie,
Here.
You all acting up?
Brad is out.
Yes. In a hurricane.
Yes.
What?
Jennifer,
Here.
Faith,
Here.
Mike,
Here.
and Paula.
Do we have security in here? All right, thank you for that. We need approval for the minutes from August 14th for the 2023 regular meeting, please. I need a motion by Bonnie and a second by Ms. Paula. Ms. Brenda?
Okay, Mike,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and Paula.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm excited. I've got some fans out here that I'm so glad they made it. Our first thing is our presentations, and I would love to have the Sobriety Sisters, either the whole gang or a few of you will come up to this little desk up here. Whoever wants to be brave enough, come on up here. Come on up here. And you got when you get up there, there's that on top of that button there. Just push it and it'll turn green on top. Look at you. I'm not saying nothing. All right.
Okay.
So first of all, introduce yourselves and then tell the audience and obviously the council who you are and what's your mission.
Okay. So first, I'd like the opportunity to say thank you for letting us speak today. We realize this is a great opportunity, and I'm excited. My name is Samantha Foreman, and I'm a co-founder and vice president of Sobriety Sisters. This is Nikki. She is the CEO and president, and this is Ashley, our founder. Sobriety Sisters, we are a nonprofit organization for women in recovery. We do everything from plant the seed of recovery to help with transitional housing and continued support long after most programs stop. Sobriety Sisters, while in recovery, treatment, we decided that there was more that needed to be done, that after most programs stop, there's still a lot of support that's needed. And so for that, Ashley, she started a Facebook page in 2021 for us to keep in touch after we all kind of spiraled out to our own houses. So now Sobriety Sisters, we have I'm sorry, I lost. Okay, in 2021 for us to keep in touch. So long story short, today it's a recovery network that includes people as close as our neighbors and as far away as Australia. We decided that more needed to be done in our community. There are currently no programs in Shepherdsville outside of the criminal system for recovery. So we took the ideal of creating an online support network and turned it into a community outreach program. So we've decided that our mission is to provide addiction recovery support for women in every stage of recovery with an inclusive experience, empowerment, while removing barriers to ensure sustainable long-term recovery. We work to complete this mission with our online support group that has over 9,000 members. We currently serve over 2 transitional houses where we've learned that women are relapsing because they don't have basic needs such as toilet paper. While we're out there, we're listening to our sisters and we're taking note of what needs to be done. Because of this, we were able to donate 25 hygiene baskets last year. We've also been able to help women that are going from community living into their permanent housing. So we are also partnered with the Isaiah House to help our sisters get into treatment. Our most recent expansion is a harm reduction service, which includes us being a volunteer distributor of Narcan through PAR, which is People Advocating Recovery, and we are authorized in Bullitt and Hardin counties. We are also trying to expand to include community outreach programs outside of recovery. Most recently, we partnered with Kelsey's Closet for a successful Schools Closed giveaway. We all know that drug use is on the rise as well as overdoses, so I won't waste time on the statistics providing what we already know. Bullitt County lacks critical recovery services. Sobriety Sisters, we want to make Shepherdsville our headquarters to provide and link recovery services, to provide hybrid meetings instead of only online, fundraising, event hosting, local Narcan pickup location, which could literally be life-saving. And as well as expand from our 25 local community members to expand to the whole community because we are all affected. So we today are asking Shepherdsville City Council to assist us or put us in touch with someone who can assist us with the following things. Volunteers that can give time or service to advise sobriety sisters in a legal capacity. Support in any way to establish a physical location for sobriety sisters. A physical location is important for our goals of expanding services. Sobriety Sisters would like to be the central location to provide services, resources, and promote volunteerism within the community. People in recovery, we use service as a way to stay sober ourselves, to continue our recovery. Sobriety Sisters, Sobriety Sisters would like to be the central location to provide services, resources, and promote volunteerism within the community. Of course, physical items such as hygiene baskets and household items for women. Shepherdsville City Council should help Sobriety Sisters because we are the community and we are in desperate need of safe and secure recovery options close to home. If recovery is done out loud and proud, it will have a domino effect on the addict community, creating more options and safe places for us to recover. In closing, I would like to say thank you again for listening to me speak today and look forward to hearing how we can work together to make Shepherdsville a safer and more supportive community for recovery.
You did good. You did good. So, I had a chance to meet them, and I'm really impressed because a lot of them, is it every one of you over recovery?
We are.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So they're solve their own problems first before they want to take on others. So I'm very impressed with all of you. Two back there is not sitting with you guys. I think it's amazing what you're doing. So before you get out of here, I think I've given you my card, but you need to come see me because yes, yes, and yes. So I just need to figure out the rest. We'll figure it all out together. Okay. So that's a yes, and I'll get with the council. We'll give them more information. But if you got any brochure stuff, that we'll get that to them. But I just think that's problem solving in our community because you guys are outstanding, and I'm very impressed. I love all of you, and I can't wait to get started on finding some real good solutions for you, okay?
Thank you.
So thanks for coming out. And then we're also gonna do a quarterly meeting up here. You can give progress, you can talk about things you're doing. We got a mayor's walk, in October. It's actually centered around the upper room, but I will have like different ones. We did Colton's house. We did, upper room this time. But in the spring, you're actually gonna have the fundraiser for the mayor's walk. So we're gonna have some money given you there, but we are gonna work on some things before that. I've got some ideas for you, so before you get out of here, I'll get you.
Thank
okay?
you so much.
Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
That's our meeting. Time to go. That was awesome. Nice job. Thank you all. All right, next on the agenda, this is one of my favorite people. Miss Amber, come on up here. Introduce yourself. Everybody probably knows who you are, but tell yourself a little bit.
Amber, a little community planner. I have several things I would like to go over tonight. A lot of events coming up. I've started back in February and I've hit the ground running. Haven't stopped yet. It's exciting. So the farmers market, we have 3 markets left. We're off this coming weekend. And then September 9th, Shepherdsville Police Department will be at the market. And then on the 16th, we have Kentucky Thumb Pickers will be there providing some music. And then also the Bullitt County Health Department will be there as well. And then the last day for the market is September 23rd. So right after the market, we row into the Fall Festival. We are partnering with Journey Church. We will have over 100 vendors, several food trucks, and then we have several events laid out for the kids that will be free. So bring the kids out and come out yourselves, shop the vendors. Up next, we have the Shepherdsville Food Invasion. If you didn't come to the first one, you've got to make it to the second one. It is October 8th. We have 23 food trucks that's going to be there, along with Soul Circus. They will be playing from 2 to 5 that day. Along with that, this time we are doing inflatables for the kids, and also a lady is coming to do balloon animals, so something for both.
Are we going to have margaritas?
Huh?
And wine? Margaritas and wine?
Margaritas and wine. So Daniel's Little Mexico will be there in attendance. He will do domestic beer and margaritas. And then Crowler Catering will be doing craft beer with their cocktails. And then Brant's, he will be there serving wine. And then Demis, who else Demis?
Well, we got beer and wine and.
Yeah, and then Daniel's,
margaritas.
yeah.
Yep. And then, we've got, do you have some booths that we're gonna have out there? Like, I know we
Yeah,
had-
we're gonna have about 15 vendors out there, craft vendors as well. So you can do a little shopping after purchasing the
They
food.
did really well. If you missed the first one, you gotta come see it. We had over 5,000
Yeah, we had like
people that
3,500
day.
in attendance last time, so we're hoping to make it just as big this time, so. And then we have the Collar Walk up next. It is going to be October 8th. We're changing up a little bit. We're gonna do the Collar Walk. So we're gonna have 4 different stations. So when you're running or walking, you
14th,
can.
14th. October 14th.
Oh, yeah, 8th is the, food
Food
truck,
truck.
sorry, the 14th. It's all going together. So the 14th. So, it is at 9. So you get to stop at 4 different locations and you get sprayed with color. It's just chalk, easy to rinse off. So it's a little fun when you're running or walking.
So I'm gonna, all of them back there, I'm buying them tickets. The sobriety sisters are gonna go walking with us and they're gonna get chalk on them.
Perfect.
All right, I'll get you tickets. I'll take care of you guys. You'll walk with us, you get a chance to talk to folks. Tell them your story. It's a great story.
So you can pick up registration forms here at City Hall, or there's some on the back table. So pick one up before you leave. It's $20 to get you a t-shirt, a ticket to a wine tasting at Forge Edge Winery, and then also the color while you're doing the walk. And
Okay.
then October 20th, we are doing a Halloween spectacular or spooktacular at Parakeet Springs. All the proceeds will be going to the principals and lunch accounts, and then also the other half will be going to provide for the youth services center there. So come out for that. It's $50 a ticket. It's a great night. We'll have snacks, Halloween costume contest, and we are partnering with Christy Harden. She's over the youth service center there. Anything you'd like to add to that, Mayor?
No, what we're doing is, yes.
Sorry, if you want to cut a check for the walk, is it to the city of Shepherdsville, or does it go to the upper room, or?
It goes to, thank you. It goes to City Hall, and then all the proceeds will go to the upper room, which is a local rec center for teens, 6th through 12th graders.
So we do make the check out though to the city of Shepherdsville?
Yeah, City of Shepherdsville, yes.
Yeah, I just want to add the fact that this is a lunch program for kids that don't have money for the lunch. Okay, that's part of the focus. And another part of it is to actually fund Christie's program, which is called, the acronym is Frisky Family Service Resources, or whatever, I can't think of what
Yes.
exactly all is. But that program is what actually helps these kids, whether they need school supplies, hygiene, or just maybe some clothes. Okay, so, and they don't have money for that. So that's what we did with this. It's all the proceeds. The adults can have fun dressing up and having a good time, but all the proceeds will actually go to help these kids that are in school that actually, and not affording lunch, that's not acceptable. So
And that is Bullet Central, correct?
Bullet Central, it's gonna start
A lot
Bullet
of
Central, but
people
the
don't.
overflow is going, we actually want to try, if we continue to raise money, we wanna work with North Bullet too and add to their principal's account, because they're another one in school. See, the participation on these programs, these free lunch programs, is very high in this side of town versus the east side of the county. So we just wanna make sure, again, we may be even funding some money there. We think this is gonna be a great time, it's an annual event, but we obviously wanna make sure we make an impact on these kids. They deserve our attention, so, very good.
And then the last thing is the Shepherdsville Fire Department is having a blood drive September 19th, sorry. That's all I have.
Well, thank you, Miss Amber. Always have a lot of good stuff, and if you don't have Amber as a friend on Facebook, if you do want to know whatever's going on in the county, much less the city, she's got it there for you, so she'll always have that information. Mr. Joe Fleming, well, come up in here, talk to us a little bit. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing good. It's nice to see everybody again. Amber kind of stole my thunder a little bit, but it's all right. There's just a lot of exciting things going on, and with a lot of new events, these car shows and these special events, alcohol gets to come into play. So I've seen an uptick on temporary license, so it's bringing in a lot more money into the city. So that's pretty exciting. So continue doing what you're doing. We've got interest coming from outside the city, people wanting to come in and see us. So I'm proud of everybody for that good effort. I've been talking to the mayor a lot about having some special entertainment license, doing some research on those to try to draw some businesses in. So when this new park goes in, you'll be able to go to local businesses downtown, hopefully, get your favorite drink, and then walk through the pretty park. That's kind of what our goal is right now. So I'm targeting a lot of effort towards that. But I haven't had any major issues or anything like that. Licenses are up to date, people's following rules, so it's kind of a boring situation right now for the ABC because everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. On a personal note, he said that I could take a minute to talk about the Bullitt Central Golf Scramble. I helped take over the Bullitt Central cheerleading team this year, and we're trying to raise a lot of money. So I put this Bullitt Central cheerleading golf scramble, September 30th, back on the table. If you all know anybody that likes to golf or like to sponsor a hole or put gift baskets together or anything like that, just fill out that information, shoot me a text or anything like that, and I can help out.
Yeah.
You got anything for me?
No, I was just gonna say, first of all, that's really cool. We're really trying to work out the legality of actually having an open container where you go out, if the winery's actually on Buckman and the park is connected to it, we're trying to figure out exactly the legal aspect of you having a glass of wine in a plastic container and walking right into the park, and then even going to the nice amphitheater we're gonna have in there to watch a concert. So we're working out that. We really wanna make that experience downtown, which we've never really had. And we're trying to change that with the bourbon. We're gonna have a bourbon tasting room down there, and then we're gonna rotate that every month, feature a different bourbon. So we're trying to do some things to get everybody downtown, kind of just enjoy the atmosphere down there. Obviously, we can do some aesthetics down there, but taking you into the park with all the things we got going on, so.
And I've also been trying to reach out to other businesses in other areas and cities to try to see what they do to bring people in. Things like the Galliot Fox up in Mount Washington. I'm trying to reach out to those people and try to see if they can help us out here. People out in Bardstown, E-Town that are doing these small kind of alcohol businesses that working well with the community. So hopefully I can help drive some business home there as well.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Yeah, I was gonna say, would you turn that off for me, Joe, right now? Thanks, sir. All right, so before we get into new business, we're gonna do 2 readings, and then we have a couple of sign-in speakers. Just for everybody here and for the public, I just wanna make sure that as we start into talking about the planning and zone approval, I wanna make sure for everybody out here, it now comes, the process is that it actually comes to the city now. It was in planning and zoning a few weeks ago, and then obviously now it's our first time to take it, first reading it. We'll have a couple of guest or some sign-in speakers, and then 9/11, we actually vote on the approval of this planning and zoning. And I want you all to know that, first of all, the planning and zoning did approve this, 8-3. And what's unique about the situation, I want everybody to understand this, is no matter where you're at on the situation, is how you feel about warehouses, there's 2 things to keep in mind. This is an opportunity for a warehouse to be in the warehouse area. And it was committed that one of the things that this business did was, they were asked last year to meet some standards of not coming on Cedar Grove Road. Now, with that said, the key to that is nobody wanted that. We have a school there, we've got Steve Plenge and his family, and we have an entrance into the Heritage Hill. We did not want to see that come out on Cedar Grove Road. We've also asked them for their streetscape. And the key to this is that they were required, they met every requirement they did in the planning and zoning through over the last year. So my concern to everybody here, wherever you're at with this, you do need to make sure you keep the facts in mind of what we're dealing with. So with that said, keep an open mind about everything, but I want to make sure that you understand everything was required and met. The key in all of this is that once this process continues, it's our job as a city to make sure it's maintained on the standards that was asked, and to make sure we do this forward. Because everything that we've asked of this business that's actually asking to come into the city to be in the industrial park met everything that was required of them. And I appreciate that from them, but I also want to make sure that we maintain that we hold them to those standards. That's the key in all this. So I think it's important for you all to know that before we get started. All right, so with that said, Ms. Catherine, would you give us our first reading on ordinance 02347, please?
Ordinance 023-047, an ordinance amending the Bullitt County City Zoning Order and the Bullitt County City Zoning Map as amended, changing the zoning of 22 acres more or less located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00-022A, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial. Summary. Number 1, rezones approximately 22 acres located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-000-022A, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial with restrictions. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
I know you Can you get it turned on? All right. So obviously have some assistance for anybody that has not seen or know about this property. I wanted, Emily actually has a chance for you to show you. She gets it up and running here. And while you're doing that, go ahead and read the second one. All right, the next ordinance she's gonna read while she's getting that ready is 023048, which is the second property.
Ordinance 023-048, an ordinance amending the Bullock County City Zoning Order and the Bullock County City Zoning Map as amended, changing the zoning of 22 acres more or less located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00022, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial. Summary, number 1, rezones approximately 22 acres located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00022, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial with restrictions. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine. If you will, Emily, would you hit the button? Yeah, just a second. Here.
Okay, thank
Hi.
you. Okay, Emily Vessels here with Dinsmore and Scholl on behalf of CRG, and I have Kevin with me, who is on the CRG team, and we're here to present the 2 parcels of land we're asking to be zoned industrial. We annexed these 2 properties into the city of Shepherdsville, so that's why we're here today, like you said. And just to give reference on where this site is, it's on the back part of the industrial park right next to Cedar Grove Road. And then to emphasize what the mayor already said, the Planning Commission did submit a favorable recommendation to the city of Shepherdsville, as this property is located on the portion that's designated as industrial for the future land use. It's about 45 acres owned by 2 sisters, and one of them was at the Planning Commission meeting a few weeks ago. And the proposed facility will be pushed back from Cedar Grove Road about 500 feet towards the back where the Best Buy building is. And there will be no access to Cedar Grove Road. We'll only be utilizing Park Loop Road, and we're working on getting this easement right here to Park Loop Road finalized. And then we're also, part of the restrictions that the Planning Commission placed were keeping this tree line on the north side as a buffer against Cedar Grove Road. We're also going to maintain the trees here as well. And we talked to, I believe, the McDaves, and they are aware that we're going to be preserving this tree line near their portion of their property where their house is.
You did mention, Emily, that the other side there, on the east side of that building you're after, you got a tree line.
Yes,
So, I mean,
right
it's-
on this side,
right.
yeah. That was part of the discussion of the landscaping on the property. And then also, do you want me to go back?
There's a house on this side over here.
On this side? On this side?
That-
Yeah, those are the McDaves.
And what's on the other side?
This is just vacant land.
And who owns that? Farmland, like fields?
Yes, and I'm not sure who owns that. That's not part of the development or under this contract. So it's McDade's over here who we've discussed the lighting and the landscaping with, and they're fine with this plan as it was presented throughout the last year. And like the mayor said, over the last year, we made a lot of concessions, talked to the Planning Commission, heard what their concerns were with Cedar Grove Road specifically and the landscaping, and we believe this is a very good industrial plan with the buffering from Cedar Grove Road, so you can't see anything, and it's well within the industrial park as well. Since it's next to the industrial park, it fulfills the industrial strategies, number 1 with the comprehensive plan, so that they'll be utilizing the utilities already on the site, and we're eliminating truck traffic and disruption on Cedar Grove Road since there's no access point. Industrial strategy 4 of the comprehensive plan states that this should be located near interstates, and as you know, it's near the I-65, and they'll be accessing the exit 114 and utilizing that instead of the one off Cedar Grove Road. And because there are already multiple distribution centers in this area, it won't cause any additional economic hardship to the surrounding area by placing this here. And most importantly, I think it's that the comprehensive plan allows for this to be industrial and is contemplated this will be industrial, which should be industrial.
All right, so I want to make sure both readings were on one property, and the second reading was on the empty lot, because both of them are being zoned in that area, in the industrial
Yeah.
park,
It's just
for that
these-
type of prototypes.
Yeah, just these two tracks, but the property is, this is the vacant portion that you're seeing, so we're just talking about these two
These two
tracks
tracks.
here.
What's on the other side
Those
of
two.
City Road?
This is where Heritage Hill is.
Yeah.
Over,
Heritage
Heritage
Hill.
Hills is over here, on the other side.
The plans, yeah. So I want to add this as kind of the new standard for the industrial park, because what requirements were asked of this and this group is what we want, asking further, everybody that's in the industrial park. The key is, first of all, setting the standard, making sure it's obligated by each developer that does it, and then we make sure that we follow up on the actual completion of the project. That's the keys that need to happen in the industrial park. We should be treating, we expect our residents to keep their places nice and neat, the park and the aquatic center, and all the things we want to do. So reinvesting that money is the important part of this group here. So Emily, I appreciate you doing that. I don't know if any of you guys have any questions for her? I know we've got
I
our,
want to clarify something.
Yeah.
Emily,
Yeah.
can you go back to the slide that showed both lots empty,
Yes.
that one? So is the building basically setting on both lots?
Yes, it's right
Okay,
here. And then
so
the
while
tree
it's
line's
two separate readings, this building will actually, it's one building on both of these lots?
Yes.
two sisters.
Okay, I just
Yes.
want to make sure that we're all on the same page and we
Right.
understand that, because, I mean, I don't do, I'm a lawyer, but I don't read these for a living, so, they can be tricky at times if you are not used to reading these things. I just want to make sure that everybody here understands that, so thank you.
Yes, yes. Thanks for pointing that
Right.
out.
So we do have guest speakers up here, but Emily, thank you. Right now,
Sure,
if you let them.
thank you all.
All right. So, James Chappell, if you come up, please. If you'll state your name and your address for us, please.
James Chappell, 216 Sharon Drive, Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Yes, sir.
I've got some papers in case I can't get done in 3 minutes, but I'd like to request an extension to 5 minutes with a 1 minute maximum rebuttal to any questions that the council or the people there might have,
Okay.
if that's allowable.
That will allow. We've only got.
I'm asking for this zoning change to be rejected based primarily on the fact that the state comprehensive plan has not been reviewed since 2015, and also that it's restrictive in what areas are done, that they're strictly looking at industrial zoning and just distribution centers. As the young lady said, there's distribution centers all over the place, but there is no housing. So if you would, I'm gonna read along on this and you guys can look at it. The trend of past zoning changes have been based primarily on the state comprehensive, fits the comprehensive plan. Adjoining properties are light industrial. The comprehensive plan is the blueprint or roadmap for zoning laws and planning units, although many communities in Kentucky have no zoning laws. For those who do, the comprehensive plan is a fundamental prerequisite. The comprehensive plan for each community serves as a critical planning guide rather than a straitjacket to the rezoning process. That was in the Ward versus Nippenberg, Kentucky, and there's letters there, I don't know if it's the case numbers or whatever. By designing the comprehensive plan, it should be the guide to the future development, even though when adopted, it takes into consideration all current land usages. The comprehensive plan should be looked beyond current uses or towards future development. It should be undergoing review and scrutiny. That was Fritz versus Lexington Fayette County Urban County Government in 1998. The last review of our plan, as stated, was in 2015. Kentucky's 1966 Planning and Zoning Act requires each planning commission to conduct periodic reviews of existing comprehensive plan at least once every 5 years, as stated in KRS 100.197. These periodic reviews shall be in light of social, economic, technical, and physical advancement or changes in the community. The planning committee shall either amend or readopt plan elements only after public hearing before the planning commission, again as stated KRS 100.197. As part of the process, planning commission should consider whether the original research is still valid If the commission finds research is still valid, no additional research is necessary. The last review of the state comprehensive plan, again, in this area was 2015. One place did a review of their state comprehension plan, it took them 2 years. While past practice has been to pass zoning changes based on the unit's recommendations, the units being the Planning and Zoning Board, that a trend of ignoring Ward versus Nippenberg, Kentucky comprehensive plan is not a straitjacket, but relying primarily on finding of fact. The Bullock County Economic Committee has requested reviews of the comprehension plan. Follow the meeting on this zoning request or discussion on a review of the state comprehensive plan. The plan that it had not been reviewed since 2015. I want to point out that this review has not been done since 2015, although zoning changes have passed or forwarded by all units to the cities and other things based on finding the fact, which could be contestable because of this. In Bryan versus Solomon, Kentucky, the court found evidence sufficient to meet one of the 3 criteria by rezoning under KRS 100-2113 must be decided on a case-by-case basis, that the rezoning was a legislative matter rather than a judicial one, and there may be compelling need for rezoning if it was based on the economic, physical, or social nature of the area. This to remove the straitjacket stigma used meets a comprehensive guide. And, you know, my view is that area across the road would have made a nice park and been cheaper than what we purchased in here, or also would be suitable for homes. The planning committee kind of shot me down claiming that there would be a large number of homes back there. When I checked with the guy in charge of it, he said the maximum amount of homes that we put back there would be 200 homes, which would maintain a good green zone and would supplement the school and not worry about tractor trailer trucks. Anyway, KRS 100.187 requires the inclusion of 4 separate elements which must be part of every comprehensive plan. A statement of goals and objectives which shall serve as a guide for the physical development and economic and social well-being of the unit. That'd be the planning board in the county. A land use element which shall show proposals for the most appropriate economic, desirable, and feasible patterns for the general location, character, extent, and interrelationship of the manner in which the community should use its private land at specified times as far as the future as reasonable to foresee. Such land use may be cover public and private, residential, commercial, industrial, and agricultural
James.
elements. Once you put a warehouse up there,
James, I've got you on 5 minutes right now.
already, okay, I'm
You got 5
apologize.
minutes, and you've also given everybody the copies of that so they can
Yes,
finish
sir.
reading it. But I appreciate you coming up.
I just ask that you pay particular attention to page 3, the bold black print at the bottom as you decide to vote. Thank you, appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, and our next speaker is Mr. Steve Blanch. Come on up, Steve.
It seems like I'm talking loud, it's because I can't hear half of
worries.
what's being said up
No
here.
worries.
I don't know if it's
No.
just me or if anybody else is having trouble hearing. I live directly across Cedar Grove Road from, from this property, and yes, they're gonna set the building back and there are trees shielding that, but I brought these issues up at planning and zoning, and it looks like they're bound and determined to pass this. The problem with this industrial park is that it was done a parcel here and then a parcel there and then a parcel there, and there was no master plan for the whole thing. So yes, you can use Park Loop Road, but if you've ever driven through there, it is windy and snaky, and I drive a truck. You don't want to be on roads like that. So this may be something that goes back to your city engineer to try to maybe straighten those roads out to make it more.
Yeah, let me go ahead and give you that real quick. I'll give you extra time, Steve, no worries. It's only because your wife does really good cakes. I know she cooks, but I need to tell you this, so seriously, we are already in the process. There are 3 critical spots in the industrial park that semis have trouble. I'll give you one of them, Omega and Ohm. It's a very tough place. So we already have to look at that. There's water runoff that runs underneath that area, but we met today. So we're already looking at changing the dynamics to make it more comfortable for those to go to 114.
That is
That's it.
really a bad spot.
It is.
Water runs
There's
out of
two
the road
others.
there in the
That's right.
wintertime, and it's,
there's two others that we're looking at too. So we do know that in the original design, when you started talking about design of that place, welcome to Shepherdsville. You were talking about poor design as far as traffic. So we have those challenges, but we are gonna fix that because there is that. We already moved all the signs that move the tractor trailers, say, hey, you gotta go to 114. It's, when you're at that light or you're behind the racetrack, it is tough, but you wanna go left. But we've got the sign going right. So we are working on the traffic there, but I wanted you to know that we are working on those roads.
and I've got some ideas for the council to maybe
Okay.
in the future, on this one and future, to put some specific, if you're gonna require, screening, that it be of a certain height. A good example would be Bullitt County Stone out there. If they didn't have a sign out front, you wouldn't even know there was a rock quarry there. Have tall trees and a berm, and there's no reason why buildings that are that are built that can be seen from the road, okay, let's do landscaping and berming to, it's different if you got nothing but industrial, but there happens to be a pretty nice housing development that they can see every time they come out on Cedar Grove Road. And I know you folks, you want to do your business, but you sell it to the people building the building, and you're gone, and they say, well, we didn't know anything about that. We didn't agree to that. I've lived in that house my wife and I have lived there for over 50 years. And I'm not against development or anything else, but you need to show consideration for the other people that are living there. So maybe, Mayor, you could get with your city engineer and look at what they've done in other places.
Yep.
Put an ordinance.
Yep.
Any building of a certain size like that you must have screening, and it must be this tall, and
Well, I think you're gonna see much more of that change in the way that the expectations, because this first round, if you look at what's happening in this last year, the expectations have changed on the development in there, and it's gonna continue to do that. But again, anything that, whether they sell that building or not, there are still codes that have to be met.
because, it's like James addressed it, it's done on a case-by-case thing, so you do one thing for one case and something different for the next case, and there's no uniformity.
Well, that goes back to code enforcement that we worked 5 weeks on. We were
And,
trying to be consistent about what we wanted from industrial to business to residential.
Back to the issue that they can only come out on Park Loop Road, there's nothing to keep them from coming out there and turning left on Park Loop Road and coming out on Cedar Grove to the east.
Yeah, but they're all
Unless
selecting it.
unless you put something there to prevent that turn, and a sign won't do it.
I appreciate it, Steve. Thank you for coming out. Thank you very much.
Steve, can I get your phone number? Steve?
I got it for you, Bonnie. I'm gonna give her your number. I can get it, Bonnie, I can get it to you.
We'll get it from you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. All right, so
If I may, just,
Yeah,
if those are all the
absolutely,
speakers.
absolutely.
I just want to address what Mr. Chappell was saying about the comprehensive plan. Hasn't been done since 2015, and that's pretty typical for comprehensive plans. Like you said, it takes 2 years to do something like that, and I believe that they're kind of in the works on redoing the plan now.
they are, because of the extended of the COVID.
Right, so, I mean, it is a critical planning guide and not a straitjacket, and that's why things are done by case-by-case basis. And the planning commission takes that into consideration, the future land use map and the comprehensive plan that was put in place in 2015. They're acknowledging that on a case-by-case basis as they receive things and as things grow in the area. So it's not fair to say that just because it hasn't been revised since 2015, it's not still accurate. Also, the property's not suitable for homes. I think that is fairly obvious by the surrounding properties with the industrial park right behind it. And then this developer has given a lot of consideration to this site and the surrounding areas. They've agreed to keep that screening in the front so that people from Cedar Grove Road can't see it, which is additional to the landscape plan that I believe is also in the works with the Planning Commission. So even without a plan in place, the developer has been making concessions throughout this year-long process to address the concerns of the public with the screening on all sides of the property, only access to Park Loop Road, and we can't just, landlock this property in and not let them go anywhere by what if they go on to Cedar Grove Road, but we can do what we've provided to you tonight and shown the work that they've put into the access only on Park Loop Road.
So the area is actually, it's industrial, okay?
Yes.
And the fact that you have that vote from the planning and zoning, what I mean is that the requirements that you have are the highest requirements that's ever been put back there in that industrial park.
Agreed, yeah.
And the fact that you did all that, that's what we need to do moving forward. But the fact that it's in the industrial park and you don't come out on that road,
Right.
because see, it's on this side. There was a time from the past, they tried to build something on the back side of our subdivision.
Right.
Okay, that would have been unacceptable. I live back there, I understand that, okay? I'm like folks that live back there that understand that in the growth of our city, that's the distribution part. The major artery through our city and 15 minutes from the airport, but now how we manage that is how we manage those dollars that come from that. That's our job up here. The key to this is that you guys have gone through the process of planning and zoning, and I appreciate you guys coming out here today, making your presentation as well. So thank you all for that. You guys got any more questions? No? No?
Do they know, or do they have an idea of who they're going to lease, or however they do this property, what the traffic flow is gonna look like? Even though it won't be out on Cedar Grove, they do have that one option that was discussed. Can you give us any insight on that?
At this time, no. It's a little bit too early pre-zoning. Our plan moving forward with a favorable vote would be to immediately market the property for build-to-suit. As it becomes an investable development at that point for companies to start considering moving here to Shepherdsville. But the go-forward plan would be to build this speculatively, which means that we would construct it without a tenant in place. There are some variability in terms of traffic, trip generation, and terminations in the site. We can do a preliminary traffic study and traffic impact analysis to give an engineer's estimate of those, but ultimately, that number isn't going to be truly known until a company moves in to the building and starts operations.
And I think Alex could probably speak more to this, but this site will not remain vacant, even though they don't have a tenant already signed up for this spot. And the size of the building compared to other sizes in the industrial park is kind of smaller to those, so it would lend to less truck traffic than a typical full-size warehouse if we weren't giving up that whole front portion to the landscaping buffer.
So can you give an estimate on like the maximum, because people like numbers, they like,
Sure.
they like, and even if they're estimates, even if it's like, well, we're talking 100 to 200 trucks or something versus 1,000 to 2,000, put it in some context that people can wrap their heads around. I think that will help.
So, if I can speak about a couple things. So Emily was referencing, so we currently, for the wider market, which is considered part of the Louisville market, including Bullitt County, Shelby County, Southern Indiana, we have the 9th lowest vacancy in the nation at 2.9%. It's pretty staggering. We have more, buildings getting leased than are being built, right? And so companies that want to locate here, it's challenging. I think that we would suspect that the most likely type of tenant, though we don't have any kind of commitment, is an electric battery supplier for the Ford plant in E-Town. So E-Town is building a $5.2 billion mega gigafactory for the Ford electric vehicles. We are just starting to see the first phases of spin-off demand. Ford awards their contracts on a cycle that's much more tight than they actually are going to finish their own building. So the reason why you need to have a speculative building is because somebody needs to get in within 2 months, but a building takes 9 to 18 months to complete, right? So Ford is awarding those contracts right now, and guess what? There are really no bulk buildings that are actually constructed between here and down in Glendale. So that's the most likely outcome. You know, there's different kinds of tenants that vary. Some traffic could be as few as a few trailers a day, and they have a different kind of process. On the higher end, it's difficult to say. I think Kevin would probably say the best way to find that out would be to do a proposed kind of traffic study. So I just think maybe that's some helpful context around
Okay.
that.
I mean, on the high end though, are we just talking maybe 100, a couple hundred, or thousands?
No,
Yeah.
100 to a couple hundred.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
The
I'm just
main-
trying to
yeah.
narrow this down because for some of us, we don't do this every day.
Yeah, well, and also if it gives any peace of mind in terms of the maximum possible number of trips generated is going to be somewhat constrained, and we're not going to be able to market this property to a super heavy user because of our
gotta
effective
get
choke point with the Cedar Grove Road not having access to Cedar Grove Road. Not only does it redirect traffic, but it limits the number of maximum number of trips per day. And getting back to the land use plan, we believe that industrial is the highest and best use, and we believe that this site is still very marketable and very desirable for those users that Alex described, because Shepherdsville is such a good place for those type of companies, and they want to be here.
Especially if they're gonna go south to Glendale.
Correct.
We were also recently ranked #1 in labor for the Midwest, #3 in the United States. Shepherdsville reaches 67% of the US population in a day's drive. And one thing, so I'm a real estate broker that I'd like to mention. It is gonna be incredibly challenging to do some kind of multifamily or other use here due to the site bordering the Best Buy facility. Those kind of developers will effectively rule out any sites that adjoin existing industrial.
It's not just the truck traffic that you have to worry about too. If you don't believe me, get on Cedar Grove Road at 5:30 in the morning, or from 3 till 5:30 in the afternoon. You got a choke point there at Zappo.
Yeah, but that's,
Which I think
yeah,
we're
that's-
addressing.
that's
5:30
further
in the
down.
morning, if you're going westbound, there's a steady stream of traffic getting off the interstate, people going to work. I mean, car after car, and that light holds and holds and holds and holds.
I think
So
that's,
it's not
State
just the
Park, that's
truck
the thing.
traffic. Every building has people working in it too, so that has to be factored in too.
and I think that's being addressed with us not coming out. of
and that's
Cedar
one
Grove
reason
Road.
why we have the lanes there.
Right.
Obviously, you've seen they've extended that road out to give us a better on traffic as far as getting towards the school. So we do have some relief because of the lane expenditure out that area. But I think the key thing that Alex said too, in this process, we're going to see the developments come this way. And how we manage that is gonna be important. Obviously, we do know that this is a designated industrial park, and that's the key in this, is that, we've gotta be able to manage that. Again, it's managing the traffic through there, the folks that are in there and the developments. But again, I think for everybody here, if they'll understand what he was talking about coming out on the GFS section, you're right there you're real close to Omega. So Omega takes you to Ohm, which takes you to the interstate. You're not gonna make a whole lot of other turns if you get that close to the road that's gonna get you to the interstate. So I appreciate it. Thank you all for coming out today.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
You said I could have a 1-minute rebuttal on them?
Come up here, James.
The fact that the county failed to review the comprehensive plan since 2015, I don't think that burden should be placed on the public to facilitate anyone that wants to come in and develop on the old plan. As far as the homes versus industrial, they're coming in, they're putting industrial parks or areas, light industrial areas, next to farms, which could also be considered a home or anyone else. So you're always gonna have that basic contact. So I still argue the point that that can be developed into some form of housing back in that area instead of the park. And, I mean, you talk about how it was before. I think the original plan, I don't know if he's gonna do it, there's gonna be a bridge across Salt River where the golf course is now, and they projected 58 trucks an hour to be coming up Valley View, going back to the industrial park
That's
and
not
up
happening.
that. I know that got shot down,
But
thankfully.
again, they were arguing to put that on the other side on the golf course, which we fought. That made no
Right,
sense.
that was in your yard. But I'm still standing by the fact that
Might have been Paula's, maybe
Okay.
Catherine's.
I still stand by the fact that the planning and zoning failed by not revising the comprehensive report, and I still think this is not good for Shepherdsville to do this.
I appreciate it. Thank you, James. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
Alex, thank you guys for coming out. Okay, yes, all right. That's it. All right, so, what's that? No, no executive. Planning and zoning, I think we talked to Dwayne, there was nothing going on there. Board of Adjustments, I'm sorry. Department heads, I've got my assistant police chief here, Mark. How you doing? So I don't know if you want to make any words of wisdom. I'm sure you just come up here for a minute and put you on the spot again. I like doing this to rookies. It's fun. He's such a nice guy. All right. So, Mark, if you want to, listen, so what we're doing is we're rotating, obviously, between the chief and their assistants. We want them to come up, and if you have anything you'd like to say, we're glad to have you. He saved the city a bit of money. We're kind of excited about that. But what would I say?
I'd just like to say thank you again for the opportunity that you all have given me, and I appreciate everybody's hospitality. Getting to know the city of Shepherdsville, and this seems like a very great city, and good city council and mayor, and a lot of public support and interest here. So, I appreciate you giving me this chance to work for you all, and I'm gonna, try to do everything I can to make this a very safe place for you to raise your family. I know that's what Chief Schmidt wants to do, and you've got a great police department here, and we're gonna work hard for you.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. So do I have, who am I missing back here? I don't, Tom's back. He's gone. I spent a lot of time with Tom. I don't anymore with Tom. I don't think anybody from this, I thought I was gonna have an assistant chief here for the fire department.
You do.
Oh, where?
He's
Oh.
hiding.
Don't be hiding. Come on up here. I see you hiding over there. I couldn't see you.
Thank you, Brenda.
You're welcome.
Yeah, You can take it. Come up here and talk to us. Introduce yourself first of all to everybody up here.
My name's Todd Bivens. I'm with Shepherdsville Fire Department. Got promoted to the assistant chief's position in April of this year. Hopefully we're moving in the right direction. We see a lot of great things coming for the city and the fire department as well. Hopefully under the leadership of the mayor and the city council, we can continue to move forward and make Shepherdsville a great place to visit as well as to live. So,
Well, I agree with this. Both departments do a great job. We really appreciate you guys. Hey, thank you for coming. That wasn't too bad, was it?
no, not at all.
All right, Council, Miss Bonnie.
I want to thank jail and inmates for all the work they've done cleaning up the bushes and weeds and everything else that they've been doing for quite a while, not only in the city of Shepherdsville, but in the county as well. That's all I have.
All right. Hope you do that. All right. Miss Jennifer?
I was just, wondering, so like I'm sorry. Turn that on. Let me turn Brad's on. When are we gonna, a lot of people are asking, when are we gonna start anything? Cause we haven't really started anything, we're just purchasing, but I was thinking, why can't we start some of this stuff in the park, say like the drainage pipe and stuff like that, where people would actually see work being done? So I'm just saying.
Have you been to Lee Street?
Huh?
Have you been to Lee Street?
No.
And go to Lee Street. You
Yeah,
see the-
I've been too busy
remember the
sitting in
farm?
traffic to get there.
Well, so you have, that's just for everybody here, because Jennifer's got a good comment. So if you go on 44, before you get to Frankie Simon, there were two houses, two properties we own, that's actually been already cleared off, that's the new entrance to the park. If you go down to Lee Street, you'll see, if you go where the farm is, I didn't know the farm was called the farm, I had to learn that, but anyway, so that's where the salt bin was, and all that area, it's all been cleared out. So that's the first part of the entrance into the park, because if you get right through that area, to the right will be the actual start of the playground and the splash pad and the picnic areas, all right? So that's getting started. Well, as of next week, we will have the property, that's the town square. And once we get that, there's a process of getting the individual out, so we can actually start working on that property. 36 days, and who's counting? 36 days, we actually get to start the demolition on the Stout property, okay? And the first part of that is the backside of that property, the county's gonna actually take care of that at no charge to us, but they're gonna keep the materials. So that part saved us about $100,000 for them to do that, so that helps us out. Now, the second part of that is, once that is done, and we're gonna do, just for everybody here, we will have a day for all the council to come out, we'll do a ribbon cutting for that. Like I said, as soon as we get a date for that, we'll actually get going on that. But the second part of that is that actually where the warehouse area is the second part of that demolition. Our goal is to have all of that done before Christmas. so that when March comes around here, we can start the process of constructing the indoor aquatic center. So that gives you that information on the aquatic center, gives you the town square, and then it gives you the park, what's getting started with it. Again, with that said.
Cause you said we have to do the drainage first,
Okay,
that
and
pipe.
so that's what's being worked on now, because they had to clear all that out to get the entrance started, but they're gonna run that along that tree line.
Right.
If you're actually in the area where the public works and look at that tree line, that's where the road's gonna go, but they're actually gonna take that line. It's the simplest way to get it to the river.
Right.
That line has to go because we're still in the process of not only Blue Lick, but 44, and moving that water up so it doesn't flood. Because Blue Lick, as all of you know, when it rains even just a little bit, the two schools are flooded. And so it's a challenge for us. We're in a floodplain area, we're in a bowl. So we're gonna continue to work on that first. But I think it's a great question. I think people wanna know. We're gonna launch our new website by middle of September, which we're gonna do a lot of stuff. Amber's gonna be putting some things out there that we're doing, so we're gonna try to update you guys over the next 60 to 90 days. So I get it. If there's somebody that's more impatient than me, raise your hand. Raise your hand. I don't think so. So I know that well, you could be. You've been around me long enough, and maybe you too. So I got two over here that give me a challenge. But I do think we're all excited about it. But I think it's great that Jennifer asked that, because it is something that they want to know, and we're trying to get information to them. We've given them some renderings of things like the town square.
Well, I think a lot of people think, when they think park, they literally think the only usable part of our park, which is the First Street area.
Yeah.
They don't think of back in the back, really.
Yeah, so there is a lot of that. So again, as we move forward a little bit, most of it's kind of really it's kind of boring stuff, like moving dirt.
Right.
So bear with us when we're moving dirt, but I'm excited about moving dirt. So, thank you, Jennifer, that's very good, very good. Oh, see, then you turned your thing off. Oh.
You
No.
did I
Bonnie?
just want to say thank you to whoever gave us the.
Oh, that's
These are
Brenda.
awesome.
See, we're special up here. We got new coasters up here for our renderings. We're still special up here.
Keeps the slobbery
See,
off.
so, Bonnie, sisters, we're special up here. All right, Miss Faith.
I have several things.
No, come on.
First off, I had a phone call, and she's kind of touched on it. Well, actually, no, I was in the park, not a phone call. The next one was a phone call. Wanting to know when we're gonna get our basketball courts put in there. They've been promises for like 2 years.
I'm not, at basketball courts in the park.
Mm-hmm. There were supposed to be basketball courts put on both sides. Am I wrong about that? I know on First Street.
Well, they moved the ones out to put the public works building in there.
Right, and when they
Is
took
that-
those out,
is that- so, well,
when they took
it's-
them out, they promised to put them back in.
Well, it's now gotta be part of that park layout, because you still got the aquatic center, so basketball courts will be actually put into the process, but it can't be, because now we've had to change some of the dynamics on that side. Okay, the way it's gonna actually come in on Frankie Simon, and the way it's gonna come in through Lee.
Mhm.
So I can't tell you that they're gonna be put there. I know in original plans they were put on the drawing, but as you look at the way things are going, it may not be there. We may have to look at other properties and put them somewhere.
I
But it's on the
told them
list.
that I wasn't
Yeah,
sure,
we're
but
gonna-
I know that they've been put,
Yeah, we've got a football field, soccer field, and basketball courts.
but they watch, and they've been wanting me to ask.
Hey, listen, keep asking.
And I want the courts too, because I love to watch people play ball.
I was gonna say, you're not.
Not that I'm sporty.
I said.
I'm not sporty, no.
All right.
Mm-mm. I like clothes.
Yes, ma'am. No, I do
Okay,
the
the
same
next
thing.
one. 3 people from Dawson Drive has called me, and I went over and looked at it, and where the beauty salon is, I think it's called 480, you pull, and then Dawson Drive is right there. You know where the old fireworks building used to be, right across from Danny Fackler? Well, behind that on Dawson Drive, the road is it's demolished. It's coming off little bit by little, and it's kind of hard to get around if there's 2 cars.
Did you tell Tom?
No, because I wanted to go
Okay.
through you first.
Okay.
Can
No
I
worries.
call Tom tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
And find out, because he can give us an estimate of what it's gonna cost. Because I
Okay.
don't know exactly, I haven't seen it. I can go by and see it.
I went and looked at it, and I thought I'd go back tomorrow and spray, where Tom would know what I was talking about, you know.
Yeah. Why don't you
And-
reach out to him in the morning on that?
Okay, I definitely will. And there was one other thing I wanted to say before I say this. I hope everybody's keeping the family of the Bullitt Central girl that was killed in the car wreck. Very dear to my heart, people are, and very upset about it. I just hope everybody prays for this family, because they're having a really bad time. So keep them in your prayers. She'll be buried on Wednesday, I think. So, Wednesday or Thursday.
Very sad. Thank you for bringing that up.
It is, it's very sad, but if you've been to Bullitt Central, go up and look at her parking spot, because it's amazing what the kids have done. And it warms my heart to know that people in this community still love the people that they've lost, that really touches my heart. And this family's been in Bullitt County as long as I can remember. So, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. And the next one is, I got a call from a couple business owners on Buckman. And they said they attended a meeting in April, and I remember that because I went to Mexico and I couldn't come. But they said that there was supposed to be one every 6 weeks, and they haven't heard anything else about any. Do you know anything about that?
I'll get with Courtney now. Yeah, there's been some things
Okay.
tried to put together. Yeah.
They said they've tried to get a hold of somebody, and they couldn't get a hold, never got a return. Just wanted to know when the next one would be.
All right, we'll find out for you.
Okay.
All right.
And I guess that's all I have.
No? Well,
Thank you.
Hello, Mike.
Hello, Jose. I got a couple of things. First of all, I was going to thank Brian and the crew down there, the inmates, for the job they've been doing. And I was sitting at the wrong end of the dais tonight for that, so.
So blame Bonnie for that.
Bonnie, you're to blame for that, and I'll remember that. Second thing is, I just want to make a comment, and it just came to me because of something Faith mentioned, and it's kind of a general consensus. When we say, they promised, they said they were gonna do this, they said they were gonna do that. The theys aren't here anymore. The theys that promised this and didn't do anything are gone. They were the last regimes. Not necessarily just the last one, but even several going back. So as I said, early on, Mayor and I discussed things. We don't always see eye to eye on things, but we work things out. And I definitely like seeing the progress that we're making. I know a lot of it is still in the beginning stages. There'll probably be a lot of it done all at one time, because it takes a little bit of time to plan and get some of this stuff in on schedules and get going. So I just want to say that. So those of you that can hang in there, and I think most of you will, I think here in the next 6 months for sure, and into the next year, we'll see a lot of improvement and a lot going on, a lot of things happening. So, that's what I got tonight.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Paula?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Public Works because they finished the Wendy's area. They put new stones up, and then Beth Allhouse and Miss Cabero, Lynn, they helped replant all these flowers. So that was it's finished. So now we just got to wait for them to grow. So, but we really appreciate it because it was a lot. They had to plant all the dirt, put the dirt in and the mulch. So it was a lot. So we're glad that's over with and it's finished. And I want to thank everybody for just coming and putting your trust in the council and trusting us to make the right decision. This is my home, Shepherdsville, and I love this place. So, and I take this job very seriously. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Paula. Hey, so just for everybody to know, if you haven't noticed on 45 and 65, have you noticed we cleaned that up? We cleaned up all 4 sides, okay? So we're gonna make sure that when you come to Shepherdsville, you're gonna come to a city that's cleaned up. We're gonna grass seed it all the way around, and then we're just gonna keep it trimmed up. Because you go to places in Ohio, you see some beautiful landscape, it's very expensive for that. We may look at that somewhere down the road, but we're not gonna spend that kind of money, hundreds and thousands of dollars of doing that. But we want you, when you get off of that ramp, that it's clean and nice and makes a first impression, just like we did the Wendy's. It's important for you guys to see that, because not everything is, and Jennifer made a good point, that we want people to know, but we're always going around, we're taking out dilapidated properties. We're doing things to clean up the city, one house at a time. And so, yes, some of that's not really exciting, but it's important for you all to know that we are doing things daily. I think Public Works has done a great job. They did a good job. That flower bed, it looks really nice. It's nicely done. We'll put the grass around it, and it'll look real good there. And it's gonna stay like that. Because then when you come into Shepherdsville, we're gonna put banners up. We've got tons of banners we're gonna put up. We're gonna keep things downtown. So we're gonna try to keep as much of a hometown feel as we can. And we need to understand that, obviously, when you have a major artery in the country running right through the middle of your city, and you're 15 minutes from the airport, you can bet the kind of business that wants to come here. But what we do up here, I reiterate one more time, what we do up here for community services like the Sobriety Sisters and the Upper Room in Colton's Clubhouse, and working with different organizations, we're problem solvers, just like we talked about with DC on the Halloween. We want to do all these things in our community, okay? Because we're right, I think we are a good community, and you know what? It's time that we feel proud about who we are in this community. We've spent a long time. Mike, I kind of agree a little bit. You said something about they. I don't care about they. January 3rd was the first day that we did office here, and we've been doing 8 months worth of work, and for all of you, thank you. I mean that sincerely. I know Brad's not here, but I would thank him as well. We have done a lot of good things in a very short period of time. And I think if we continue that, Amber, you're a big part of this too, so I want to thank you for what you've done. Courtney as well. I think we've got a lot of good things. Joe, don't want to forget you either, Joe. Don't want to forget Joe. And Rob. Rob Adams has been really stepping up a lot of things. So I think we have a lot of good people doing a lot of good stuff. Let's keep that attitude, because we can do good things, you know. And I think right now, we're gonna keep working on what we're working on, but I appreciate everybody's comments up here. Like I said, I'm just excited to be, and be honored to be the mayor of Shepherdsville. I mean that sincerely to all of you out there. And thank you all for coming out here tonight. All right, with that said, I need a motion to adjourn. All right.
I'll second.
All right, surprise on that one. That was a surprise. I didn't know Mike was gonna second that. All right, can you give me a roll call, please?
Paula,
Yes.
Bonnie, Faith, Mike,
Yes.
and Jennifer. Jennifer?
Yes.
Do you have to think about it? Do you have to think about it?
Sometimes our
She
names
was.
kind of run the, Mendez, I know Menges sometimes like, was that me or was that her?
That's why I switched the first name.